The great hall sparkled with floating candles as students gathered for the first meeting of the Dueling Club. Professor Lockhart strutted onto the raised platform in resplendent robes of deep plum, followed by a visibly irritated Professor Snape, whose black cloak billowed behind him like a storm cloud. The air crackled with anticipation as Harry, Ron, and Hermione pushed their way through the crowd of eager students. What began as a demonstration quickly descended into chaos when Malfoy and Harry were paired for practice. The duel took an unexpected turn when Malfoy conjured a serpent that slithered menacingly across the platform. In that moment, Harry's voice changed, producing sounds that made everyone step back in horror. The snake, responding to his commands, backed away from Justin Finch-Fletchley, but the damage was done. The great hall fell silent, and Harry could feel dozens of frightened eyes fixed upon him. Even Ron and Hermione stood frozen, their faces pale with shock. The revelation of Harry's Parseltongue ability spread through Hogwarts like fiendfire. Corridors fell silent when he passed, and students scurried away in groups, throwing suspicious glances over their shoulders. The castle's warm stone walls, usually so welcoming, now seemed to echo with whispered accusations. In the Gryffindor common room, beside the crackling fireplace, Ron and Hermione tried to reassure Harry, but their words felt hollow against the weight of the school's suspicion. The situation worsened when, during a particularly gloomy afternoon, Harry stumbled upon the petrified form of Justin Finch-Fletchley, with nearly headless Nick floating motionless beside him, black and smoky instead of his usual pearly white. The discovery sent shockwaves through the school, and even Harry's closest friends couldn't completely hide their unease. As Professor McGonagall led him to Dumbledore's office, Harry couldn't shake the feeling that the Chamber of Secrets mystery was somehow entwined with his own destiny. The great hall sparkled with enchanted icicles, and 12 towering Christmas trees lined the walls, each decorated with golden bubbles and glittering fairy lights. Harry, Ron, and Hermione huddled near the crackling fireplace in the Gryffindor common room, their faces illuminated by dancing flames as they discussed their plan. The polyjuice potion bubbled quietly in Moaning Myrtle's bathroom, almost ready for use. Through frosted windows, they watched as snow blanketed the castle grounds, creating an almost ethereal atmosphere that masked the darkness lurking within Hogwarts' walls. During Christmas dinner, the feast was magnificent. Golden platters piled high with roast turkeys, mountains of roast potatoes, tureens of buttered peas, and boats of thick gravy. Yet the festive mood couldn't dispel the anxiety that gripped them. Percy's suspicious behavior caught their attention as he nervously shuffled through the corridors, clutching an old leather-bound book to his chest. The trio exchanged knowing looks. Tomorrow would be the day they'd finally infiltrate the Slytherin common room. As the clock struck midnight, the three friends gathered in the dimly lit bathroom, steam rising from the murky potion. Moaning Myrtle floated above, her translucent form casting eerie shadows on the stone walls as she watched with morbid curiosity. The transformation was excruciating. Harry and Ron felt their skin bubble like hot wax as they transformed into Crabbe and Goyle. Their mission into the serpentine lair of Slytherin revealed more questions than answers, as Draco Malfoy's boastful revelations about the Chamber of Secrets led them down an unexpected path. Meanwhile, Hermione's transformation had gone horribly wrong, leaving her in the hospital wing with distinctly feline features. As Harry and Ron rushed back through the dungeons, their borrowed forms beginning to fade, they stumbled upon something chilling, a new message written in silvery spiderwebs across a corridor wall. Time is running out. The discovery of a small black diary near the message would prove to be more significant than any of them could imagine, though its true importance wouldn't become clear until it was almost too late. The library's ancient wooden shelves creaked under the weight of countless magical tomes as Hermione frantically gestured for Harry and Ron to join her at a secluded table. Her eyes sparkled with the familiar gleam of discovery as she smoothed out a crumpled piece of parchment. The warm candlelight danced across their faces while she explained her breakthrough about the basilisk, her voice barely above a whisper. The revelation sent chills down their spines, the pipes, the voices in the walls, the petrified victims. It all made perfect sense now. But before they could process this earth-shattering discovery, a blood-curdling scream echoed through the corridors. The trio exchanged horrified glances as they realized the monster had struck again. Racing through the torch-lit hallways, their footsteps echoing against the stone walls, they stumbled upon Professor McGonagall standing before yet another message written in gleaming red. Her skeleton will lie in the chamber forever. The words seemed to pulse with malevolent energy, and Harry's heart sank as he learned who had been taken. Ginny Weasley. The evening cast long shadows through the castle's Gothic windows as Harry and Ron cornered Professor Lockhart in his office. The usually immaculate room was in complete disarray, with open trunks and scattered belongings everywhere. The fraudulent professor's true colors finally showed as he attempted to flee, his perfectly coiffed hair now disheveled and his peacock blue robes wrinkled. With their wands trained on their former hero, they forced him to accompany them to Moaning Myrtle's bathroom, where the entrance to the chamber awaited. The ghost's mournful wails created an eerie atmosphere as they discovered the secret of the snake-engraved sink. As Harry spoke in Parseltongue, the porcelain fixture began to move, revealing a dark, seemingly endless pipe descending into the bowels of the castle. None of them could have predicted Lockhart's desperate final move, a failed memory charm that would change everything. The echoing rumble of falling rocks filled the chamber as their path back became blocked, leaving Harry alone to face whatever horrors awaited in the darkness below. The castle stood silent as moonlight filtered through the ancient windows, casting eerie shadows across the second-floor corridor. Harry and Ron, accompanied by the reluctant Professor Lockhart, stood before the entrance to Moaning Myrtle's bathroom, their hearts pounding with anticipation. The knowledge of Ginny's disappearance weighed heavily upon them, making each second feel like an eternity. Inside, the ghostly figure of Myrtle floated near the circular arrangement of sinks, her translucent form providing an otherworldly glow to the chamber. Harry's whispered Parseltongue echoed against the tiled walls, and suddenly the porcelain sink began to move, revealing a dark, endless pipe descending into the unknown depths of the castle. Lockhart's attempted betrayal came swift but clumsy, ending with him being forced to lead the way into the darkness. The damp, musty air rushed past them as they slid down the ancient pipe, their wands providing the only light in the suffocating darkness. The journey seemed endless until they crashed onto a floor of small animal bones, the crunch beneath their feet sending shivers down their spines. The tunnel stretched before them like a serpentine maze, its walls slick with centuries of moisture. Their wand light revealed discarded snakeskins, massive in size, their translucent scales glittering like forgotten treasures. The group's progress was suddenly halted by Lockhart's dramatic collapse, which turned into a desperate grab for Ron's wand. The ensuing chaos triggered a cave-in, separating Harry from the others with a wall of fallen rock. Through a small gap, Ron's voice carried the devastating news. He would need to stay behind to shift the rocks while Harry pressed forward alone. The solitary journey that followed was filled with mounting dread, each step echoing in the cavernous space. The tunnel finally opened into a vast chamber, where ancient serpentine statues stood guard along the walls. At the far end, a small figure lay motionless on the wet floor, Ginny's flaming red hair stark against the dark stone. As Harry rushed forward, a soft voice emerged from the shadows, belonging to a tall, handsome boy who seemed to shimmer at the edges, as if not quite solid. Tom Riddle stood watching, twirling Harry's wand between his fingers, a mysterious diary lying near Ginny's unconscious form. The chamber's ancient stone walls seemed to pulse with an eerie green glow as Harry faced Tom Riddle, who stood between the towering serpentine pillars. Ginny lay motionless on the wet floor, her vibrant red hair spread out like a fan against the dark stone. The truth unfolded like a horrifying tapestry as Riddle revealed his true identity, each word echoing through the vast chamber. The diary, seemingly innocent, now pulsed with dark energy as Riddle explained how he had manipulated and drained Ginny's life force throughout the year. Harry's heart raced as he realized the magnitude of what he was facing. Not just a memory, but the essence of Lord Voldemort himself, preserved in the pages of that cursed diary. The chamber grew colder with each passing moment, as Riddle's form became more solid, while Ginny's grew fainter. In the chamber's darkest moment, when all seemed lost, Fawkes appeared in a burst of crimson flame, dropping the sorting hat at Harry's feet. Riddle's mocking laughter turned to rage as Harry pulled the gleaming sword of Gryffindor from the hat's depths, its rubies catching the chamber's ghostly light. The basilisk, summoned by Riddle, emerged from Slytherin's statue, its scales scraping against stone. With Fawkes blinding the creature, Harry found his courage. The battle that followed was desperate and fierce, ending with the basilisk's defeat and Harry, though wounded, plunging the basilisk fang into the diary. Riddle's scream of fury turned to nothingness as he dissolved, and Ginny's eyes fluttered open. As Fawkes's healing tears worked their magic on Harry's wound, the chamber's oppressive atmosphere began to lift, giving way to the warm knowledge that once again, love and courage had triumphed over dark magic.